Click the links to join the channel here or over on subscribe. So thanks for Vegan and Frog. I think if I just need to swear so much during this, I won't even maybe bother monetizing it. Because, I mean, these people are like Jerks doesn't quite understand it. Now, here's the thing. If 10 years ago you told me about the meltdown, like the Frosk meltdown, I don't know if you got to watch your screen for this because this guy goes on and on all day for this these tweets. Frosk had a very, like a 2-minute rant on istophobicism in gaming or something stupid. That was, I mean, that's a little hard to take. If you told me 10 years ago that, oh, yeah, people are going to have public shows, like it's not just a little corner of the YouTube where you've got like 100 people in a live stream and she's going off on something like that. It's like, oh, okay, that would, that, or 1,000 people in a live stream. It's like, that would be fine. It's like you're just a small little YouTuber, you get, like 80,000 people and you're talking about video games. Oh, all right, you had a bad day and you want to go off on sexism and gaming because you're, I don't know, say you're a hot chick and you thought people were not taking something. It's, people would understand. But like she's like got a major platform and she's going off there and insulting the audience. And then you start to think about it, you're like, so you just said that you don't play the games, you don't write the reviews. So you and Sessler are just reading the cue cards. So you're in the, and before her, Frosk, who's not a conventionally, I mean, she's skinny, I'll give her that, but she's not the person you would conventionally have for the role of eye candy, where the audience is male, 12 years on up to whatever. What the kind of roles they had before, the girls they had before who were playing those roles. Eye candy, who, like that's part of the platform was eye candy. So now you have somebody who's in this role of she's a talking head, but she doesn't play the games. She doesn't write the reviews. So I didn't realize they were so top heavy with people who are working on the shows, the editing and writing the shows. And then apparently people play the game and then write the stuff for them. It's like, well, why don't you just have them on camera instead of paying you people to be the figureheads? None of this is making sense. So like she's in the position of being eye candy, except she's not, obviously. So like, why exactly are you there? I mean, none of that makes sense. It's like, I'm just there to insult the audience. Like, okay, this is a weird expenditure of several $1,000,000. I mean, you could have spent that in a whole bunch of different ways. So if you, this guy's meltdown is really, I archived it. It's really weird. Like almost to the point of, I wonder if something else is going on with him to just people are going like, hey, we were part of you making money for all these years, and he's insulting them. So go, yeah, what suckers you were. Gamers are stupid. So he's mad. He's salty about something. So here's the thing with Sessler and Frosk when I'm doing the video, kind of, I hope this is the last video on this topic, is that Sessler and Frosk are Hollywood. They are the assholes in Hollywood. So for a few months ago, Frost had a meltdown, and then so did Sessler, and he is continually having meltdowns. That's not the unusual part. The thing is, like, well, why are so many companies hiring these people who don't have control of their emotions? There are a lot of other people you could get to do this kind of stuff. There's a guy on YouTube called Cecil, if you're in the comics community, who, someone like him would be better off doing it. He's a people person, somebody with a lot of patience who can riff off of other people and doesn't, like, there's a lot of people in the YouTube community who don't take things seriously. They're very thick-skinned. And then you come to like Frosk and Sessler, and you look at them like, these are the two thinnest skinned weirdos you possibly could have. And the thing is, like, what are they bringing to the table? They're not like taking part. They don't play the games, and they're not eye candy, and they're not fun, and they're not funny. So it's like, what exactly are they bringing to the table? In the case of Frosk, like literally nothing. Somebody like literally Cecil and Chrissy Mayer would be better than any of these people. She did a great impersonation of Frosk. The thing is with the new YouTube type of format is that anybody with a computer and a cell phone can do video game reviews. The setup is maybe $5,000 to get yourself started. It's not $1,000,000 rented studio somewhere. All you need is a fast desktop computer and a microphone, and that's it. And you screen record and you can start talking about video games. That's literally what it takes, and a good gaming chair, I'm sure. So the old days of higher effort YouTube, the very nearly viral types of skits. I miss that the like Poisoning the Well YouTube. There was a bunch of those channels they were left wing guys, right? They were a lot of fun, And then in 2016, Trump got elected, and all those channels, they got Trump derangement syndrome, and they alienated half their audience, and then they just gave up the channels, and some of them are doing podcasts now. It sucks. It's like all you had to do was just not melt down over. There's like 100 of those old 2015 channels that are still around because the channels still do bring in money as long as they're monetized. But it's like by now, my God, you could have you would have had tens of thousands of more followers if you just kept doing your thing. And you just like, you know what? Trump is going to come and go, and Obama's coming and go, and Bush. It's like, yeah, it's just politicians. They just come and go. You don't have to have a meltdown. You realize like, oh, we insulted all the Trump fans, and that was 3/4 of the audience. Oh, so the channel's over? Yeah, the channel's over. It's like, good. So you spent like 5 years putting all the. You weren't even kicked off YouTube, which is almost kind of respectable, you know. But it's like you did it to yourself. It's weird. Yeah, so it's a shame that like people lost their mind over Trump. Anyway, so those are the days of the higher effort YouTube. Unfortunately, people, which I like those skits, but people learned that the usually low effort stuff was more cost effective. It sucks because a lot of those skits were, I mean, you were seeing Hollywood, very, very low. Hollywood in the sense that somebody's holding a cell phone and that then they're doing a little bit of editing on a computer. That's like the ultimate low fidelity Hollywood. The days of very lo-fi YouTube. Then people started doing just daily 10-minute low effort videos, and it usually worked better. Then as the money comes in, you do those videos, you buy better and better gear, and next thing you know, if it catches on, you're somebody like the Quarter In or one of those kind of channels. So this is who these Frosk and Sessler people are, just complete assholes. Calling them jerks doesn't quite encompass them. The behavior of Frosk and Sessler is beyond the spectrum of somebody who's just having a bad day. These are deeply weird, disturbed people, like adults, but with childlike behavior. And what I mean, like, there's a spectrum. Like, you can hear me, and I'm joking aside, I'm normal, right? And there's a bunch of other YouTubers you listen to, and it's like you're mostly hearing who these people are because it's just a cell phone, talking into a cell phone. We're all, at least with people like I'm familiar with on YouTube, we're all within this spectrum of, okay, I may disagree with them, but they're still normal human beings. Even somebody you disagree with very seriously, it's like, they're still normal, well-balanced people. They're not completely off the far end. Like even like Tristan Nerdit's Newsstand, she argues with CG a lot, but you can sit down and you're smoking a J with her, drinking coffee. It's like, she's not hearing voices. She's still within the spectrum, or all the people in CG and Phantom Menace that you hear of, they're within that normal spectrum of their normal people. Where you look at Frosk and Sessler, like, you guys are just over that line of you're not quite like you. Or it's like Brie Larson was I was going to say doing this interview with Danny Glover, but it's not Danny Glover. It's the guy with the snakes on the plane, I think. I don't know. She's doing this interview with him, and she's talking about how much they hate their coworkers, which is like a needle scratch on the record sound. They're talking about movies and the people they work with that they don't like, because that puts you just outside the allowable spectrum of, like, normal people don't talk about that publicly. That's a really weird thing. She did some interview with, I forget the guy's name. He co-star with her in the King Kong movie. And they're talking about their coworkers. And I'm sure the host of that interview you can find it on YouTube, was probably hearing that, and like, he was trying not to, change his facial expressions. Like, are these two people, like, when people say something and it puts them outside the spectrum of, these people are a little weird, like legitimately just a little weird. It's like, okay, a little Trump derangement syndrome. Okay. But eventually you're going to get over it. Right. And it's like a lot of these people they don't get over this kind of stuff. Anyway, so this is kind of like the participation trophy generation. I don't know the first thing about them, but they have single energy. If you have a wife and 3 kids, by then all the rough edges are usually polished off. And the thing is, I mention that because nowadays there are a lot of people like Sessler and Frosk, people who don't seem to have a lot of human connections, but they have their connections online. That is a very poor substitute. And even if you're terminally single, you got to force yourself to be around other humans, join groups, be around other people, read facial expressions and body languages, because you got to sand off all those rough edges, no matter what age you are. So somebody said that Frosk and Sessler are the people who show up at the party and people are grabbing their drinks and just ducking down and sneaking off into another room. There are a lot of assholes out there. But then you look at these people and you ask, so how did they get hired for this, this major company across multiple networks? So what happened was that G4 TV was doomed from the start. The market had shifted to small YouTubers in their bedroom, so there's no way it was going to work. Fair enough. But then Frosk did that public meltdown that I don't know if it was pre-approved or if all of it was pre-approved or to what extent, but she insulted the audience and the audience magically disappeared. And then some people, some of the producers and executives and stuff, they read the writing on the wall and they started, they said, well, I was, I was here for 6 months. It's time for me to move on. Like, this is like they didn't want to go down with the ship, I guess, so they got out ahead of it. Then when some people started to get fired and Frost like really at that point you should have just fired everyone and closed down the shop. Frosk posted a tweet where she said that she'd survived and let's play some video games, which is really weird because you're the reason all those people got fired. I mean, they would have been fired. The thing would have closed down anyway, but you're the reason everyone got fired earlier. And then a couple days later, she herself got fired. I don't think she's wired right. I don't think like her or Sessler are just being jerks. They just neither one of them see the world in the same way, which is probably why her and Sessler got along so well. They're both kind of borderline personality disorders. But then I look at them, I look at the rest of these type of people in Hollywood and comics, and ask, well, why are there so many assholes in this industry? Like, how did this get? Like, was it always this way? And social media is just kind of allowing you to see who these people are, which is great, because like there's no way you want to have anything to do with these kind of people or whatever future endeavors they're getting involved in. I'm sure, was it Brie Larson's next movie, The Marvels? How well do you think that's going to do? Please tell me that's not going to do well. There's no way that does well, right? I mean, the one she did was between the two biggest movies in history, and it made $1 billion. There's no way this is going to do well. I I would be disappointed if it did, but yeah, like you never know. I mean, people are really in the mood to like they really are digging these popcorn flicks, but I don't know, like a female-led film that doesn't have anything driving you to it. I don't know how well that's gonna do. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.